Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Coffee Moaners. Welcome to our channel, the Sawalha-Adderleys. If this is your first time visiting us, then have a look around because there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell so we're always available.
I think everyone.
So we're not always available. No, so when you know when we're available.
You're always available.
I try and do these things smoothly.
You're rarely available.
And then I mess it up. But welcome.
Why do you
What
try?
do you just say you're rarely available? What's wrong with you?
Why do you try?
Try what?
All these formal things.
I don't know. I think it's because when I hear other people doing it, I think I'm going to try and do
But why? But it's not us.
I had to listen to the. You guys made me laugh so much that day when I said, "Sorry, I am."
Reason.
Yeah, sorry, I'm shouting. Thank you. It's good to always remind each other when I'm shouting. But I loved it that day when I was saying to the guys here about Stephen, CEO of a diary man, whatever it's called.
Stephen Bartlett.
Diary of a CEO.
What when he says?
And he goes, "Oh, this is." I'm always shocked and shocked and amazed when I see that 48% of you that listen to this podcast don't actually subscribe. It would really help us. And I said, "God, we should be doing that." And everyone was like, "No, it makes me sick, makes me turn off." But I'm trying to do my own version of it.
I don't like it.
Oh, all right. Just shut up.
No, just be you. Come down in your knickers and just shout it out there. You look really well.
Thank you. It's the lighting.
How's your hand?
It's much better, thank you. I was struck by terrible agony yesterday. Then I made a brutal mistake and went to the gym and said to my trainer, I don't do cardio. I said, I've got a horrible confession. I don't do it.
Because I've put pressure on her saying she needs to do cardio.
Yes. And I heard him and I thought, I'm always saying to him, I want you to stretch more. He's now doing Pilates reformer and I'm now doing cardio. But my God, did I regret it. I said to her at the end of it, I said, let's never, ever do this again. It was a bit long though. It's a 45-minute hit.
But babe, that's
no, yes. But I don't want to do 45 minutes.
Babe, you're not going to do it every day. As long as you do 2 or 3 a week.
Especially I'm right in the middle of the
2 or 3 a week.
No. We've reduced it. She said we don't need to do it.
Now you're curating around it.
No. She said we can do hit weights,
which
I prefer. I don't want to do 45 minutes all in one go.
I saw Nanny Di briefly last night, and I was reminding her of the logic that I was using with her, which is Nanny Di was often heard saying, I've got a little bit breathless, love, so I thought I'd stop.
No, you.
And what I was trying to break the news to my mum that if you do that, then incrementally you do less and less and less, because we always need to get a little bit breathless doing something.
Oh, listen, Mark, it wasn't because I was worried about being breathless. I was worried about it because I thought I was going to die because I didn't like it. No, like mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers are horrendous.
I want to find who invented them.
Well,
Mark, show them what a mountain climber is.
No, I can't.
Because I promised myself I'm never. Well, I'm going to have to show them.
No, because I have to move the camera.
So
there's a whole
difficult.
fucking.
I'm going to do it here. Move out the way, and I'll show them a bloody mountain climber. Even after I promised I would never do it.
You're going to hurt your hand. You're going to hurt your hand.
Right. So a mountain climber, you do it on the floor, or you can do it like this.
Well, that's not a mountain climber.
No, shut up. Well, I gave you the opportunity to show us.
That's not a mountain climber.
And you do this.
That's rubbish. That's not a mountain climber.
But fast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How many times did I do it? She gave me circuits.
Welcome to my world.
No, but she made me do it on a wobble board.
Oh, well, yeah, wobble
so the board was going like this, and she was going, use your core. And I don't want to use. I was actually thinking this. I don't want to use my core. I used my core yesterday in Pilates reformer.
Did everything wobble?
I was all over the place, and oh God! And like you say, you can hear me all over the gym, so it's like people do notice.
Why can't? It's like I married Annie. It's like Annie.
That's what you said to me yesterday.
It's like my head goes and my hand goes.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom.
Musical theatre does a hit training. It's just hideous.
I will be.
Shut up! Oh my God!
Just thinking about.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone will be really pleased to know this is the first morning I've woken up without
a headache.
Biliousness.
Right.
Boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, boom.
And what did you do yesterday?
Worked. Didn't eat very much.
No,
I did.
You ate regularly.
Ah.
You moved more.
Ah.
Because if you think about it, guys, if you're sitting, if your job is to sit at an office or editing like Mark is, everything is squished down. The system doesn't work. It just doesn't work as well. So if you're doing that, you're gulping loads of drink, you're starving for hours, then binging, throwing food as fast as you can to the back of your throat and throwing it back.
We need a different camera just for your fucking arm.
And throwing it back with a Diet Coke. You might get a little bit biliousness.
Hang on a minute. Oh my God. I haven't drunk a Diet Coke in months.
Oh, look at him. Okay. A ginger beer.
Doesn't have aspartame in it.
I wasn't talking about aspartame.
What
I
were
was
you
talking
talking
about bubbles.
Bubbles.
Bubbles and biliousness. That's like it's like a perfect marriage. Bubbles and biliousness.
You're right.
Can somebody make a song of bubbles and biliousness?
What is wrong with you? You have to stun your hand.
No, it's not.
What's wrong with your stomach?
She made me use my cord 2 days in a row.
Babe, this is clearly good. You needed to do all these things.
But I love this. Stuart G. Bloated. Just bloated.
Bloated.
Exactly. So he spent weeks instead looking up the worst illnesses imaginable for bloating, whilst I've just been gently saying, why don't you chew more? Why don't you move around more in the day? He exercises.
Listen.
He does it in bursts.
Lee Peart says, I've switched my fizzy drinks to kombucha.
Oh, shut up.
Mainly
He's
because I get
this
to say kombucha more. I've got kombucha.
What about caricaturist,
like
Lee?
Yeah.
God, Lee, I could never say this to your face because we're not that kind of couple, but I don't half love you. We went for a lunch. We don't actually need to have a drink, Lee and I. We just sit and we just chat and we just laugh. You're just a great person. You're a great person.
Yeah, you are. Jackie Pugh, when you thought the gym couldn't get worse, supercalifragilistic
It's reality-docious, even though I know it's really quite atrocious.
Stop it! Oh my God.
See, if Lee was here, he'd sing with me now.
No, I don't necessarily think Lee is always singing.
No, but if
I know you like to think Lee right now is standing and singing.
I'll bet you anything. He's trying to make a tune now with bubbles and biliousness.
I bet sometimes he wishes he wasn't having to do a fucking tune.
Lee, your ears must have been burning yesterday.
Oh. You can give us any more meat on the bones?
Simone came round and she said, I'm sorry to say it, but the whole of the building is not the same when Lee isn't there. We really feel it, she said.
Well, there you go, Lee.
And it's true. Everyone hates a non-Lee day.
Minky Moo says, ditch the Huel, Mark. I don't do the Huel anymore.
But you see, you know where I'm coming from. Good, proper food regularly, without hours of sitting, because you are so focused, because you're such a grafter, because you're so focused. And it is amazing. It's that hyper focus of a very smart person, but also an ADHD person. Everything else goes out the window. It's just but if you think about it, your body is all squashed. How is your body going to work properly?
All right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I got it.
So if anyone's got a bloated stomach, stand up and walk around the table.
It was nice. It was nice.
But if it's continuously bloated, you must go to the doctor.
Well, it has been continuously bloated.
No, yours has gone up and down.
Right.
So that's just the bishop.
All right. Okay. What are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about Donald Trump's total fucking insanity. Hang on a minute. You do this. Some mornings you've got a humour pipe. Right. Los Angeles is on fire.
I'm in a silly mood.
Fact check. No, it's lovely. Don't get divorced. So what are we talking about? Trump wants to invade Greenland.
Oh yeah, let's go back to being silly.
Christ.
Oh God, yeah, he's going to be the leader of the free world.
Joe Rogan suggesting he should invade Mexico. They're talking about invading the Panama or taking control of the Panama Canal.
He wants to call the Gulf of Mexico now the Gulf of America.
That'll
be so.
We're going to play.
That'll be beautiful.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds amazing.
No, he said sounds beautiful.
Sounds amazing. Sounds beautiful. We're going to play his little clip.
Wait for this.
Mark Zuckerberg sporting a £900,000 watch.
Mark Zuckerberg
ditches fact-checking in the name of free speech on Instagram and Facebook.
I want us to have a good chat about that, because I think there's
that.
Lots of different, you brought some more thoughts to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when papers like The Guardian, which obviously politically we kind of lean towards in terms of the mainstream legacy media, they've talked about it being a win for the right wing. I don't agree. And Los Angeles on fire.
This is truly horrendous. Did you see that video I sent you?
Yeah, I've got it. I've pulled it.
Oh my God.
But we're going to talk about Los Angeles first. I mean, obviously we've been there, filmed there, worked there. We know lots of people who live there.
You know who I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Patsy Palmer.
Well, yeah.
Because I follow Patsy Palmer, And obviously we were both in EastEnders years ago, and I keep looking to see if her house is all right, because we have
someone in the room from Los Angeles.
I so love what she's done with her life, the way she just dared to change it so completely.
Richard Lim, hi from Los Angeles. It's so smoky, the air smells bitter. I have all my windows closed too. The closest fire to me is the one in Pasadena, Eaton fire. Firefighters have given up containing it.
Richard, we're so sorry.
So sorry.
That's petrifying.
Now this is...
What are you going to do? I mean...
Yeah, this is principally affecting the Malibu area.
Malibu. I said Miami.
No,
which is where Patsy Palmer lives in Malibu.
Yeah, Malibu and the Pacific Palisades, and quite a few celebs live there. I just want to just pull up some of the images that I first grabbed, and then we'll show some clips. These are pretty dramatic images of houses that are going up in flames, these are coming from what they call the Santa Ana winds. The Santa Ana winds. These are winds that are blowing in from the deserts to the east, actually, of California. So reaching into the sort of what they call Great Basin, I believe. But these are images. That's that reality star. What's his face?
Pratt.
Not Twat. Sorry.
Twat.
It's not Twat. No, what's his name? It's like Chris Pratt.
No, it's not Chris. He's
I know. His other name is something. Spencer.
No, Spencer. I was going to say, like the one from Towie.
Yes, that's his home going up in flames. That's him filming his home.
Over there?
Yes, over there.
Oh, that's sweet Jesus! Oh my God! I mean, just
this image. This image is sensational. This is Ben Affleck.
An incredible photo.
Waiting in his car, looking at the fire encroaching on his home.
No,
he looks like Batman. Just waiting. I mean, it's quite he played Batman. I mean, just saying, it's quite astonishing.
Yeah.
Moody. It's like a real film set. And look, if you look at the photograph above, this is hitting the very, very far end. You know, Sunset Boulevard stretches across LA.
Is this something that happens?
This image of a house. Look at the staircase.
Oh my God!
Look at the staircase.
Oh my God!
This is the Getty Villa. Do you remember we went to the Getty Museum? And this is the Getty Villa. We drove past this on the way to.
Is that the villa on fire?
The fire is just reaching the villa. This is someone using one of the derelict houses.
And is this morning?
This is all in the last 24 hours. It's like a scene from
a movie.
Dystopian. Look
a movie.
Look at this horror. Look at this coming in. This is a woman trying to get into her car. Cars have been evacuated.
I mean, what do you do? What? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, these guys that we've got this film from. This is on Missing Harriman's.
This is some footage. I don't know if you remember driving down this road. Yeah. So this Guardian website showing houses on fire. 30,000 residents under evacuation orders.
I wonder what that actually means, though. How many?
We saw some literally flaming debris landed in the road near where we were standing. So it seemed to me, let's get out of here. But whatever I lose, and there's nothing I can do about it.
You have to let go.
The winds are coming in at 50 miles an hour. And here's some footage. Local news.
Drivers panicked. They took
these are bulldozers.
Hang on.
Drive, as well as Sunset Boulevard. This dozer is just moving these vehicles out of the way. So if this is your car, unfortunately, it's an emergency situation, and this is what they have to do. They are moving the cars as we speak. Unfortunately, there are dozens of cars. This looks like a movie set. Unfortunately, this is real. LA County Fire, they have to do what they have to do. They need to clear a path. So literally, they're moving the cars, the SUVs. We're seeing Mercedes, very nice vehicles, Teslas up here, but that's because the car owners, they took their keys and they just started running. They left the cars here as the firefighters were trying to clear the pathway, clear the roadway. This is an emergency situation where, they need to get up to the homes. They want to make sure people are not trapped up there. But this line of cars probably goes about 300 feet deep, at least as long as I can see from this bird's eye view. So we're kind of staying back. They're in a situation here where they are literally moving these vehicles out of the way.
What do we see? Emergency services running towards where everyone is running away from. That's
Christopher Gundle says, this is silent footage, so I'm just going to run it underneath us talking.
Yeah.
The fire is expanding at 5 football fields
Oh
per
my
minute.
God.
It's apocalyptic. And if you watch what we're looking at, you can't hear it if you're listening on podcast, but this footage is a family evacuating their suburban neighborhood. And
oh my God. Oh, I didn't realize it.
And it's
how
gone
bad it
to
was,
it's dark. Could it be midnight? Could it be the smoke? But in a minute, you're going to just see a sense of just how apocalyptic it is.
Oh
with the
my
houses.
God. Oh no, I can't bear it.
Houses just absolutely ignited. And then there's this footage that's doing the rounds on Instagram, which you sent, Nads. This is a couple. They are safe.
They're
they were
safe
rescued,
now. They got out.
But check this out.
And their dog got out. Imagine you're sitting in there. How did they get out?
Hi. Is it okay? You're gonna be okay. Hi. You're gonna be okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh shit. Yeah, don't worry about that, dude. Look at that.
Inside a house now.
Oh my God. This is absolutely.
Scary, huh? Yeah.
Then you've got pets.
The plastic is gone, dude.
Old people.
Look at
These two are rescued.
Rescue.
Right.
Was that water coming in?
So, where's the gas?
Outside.
Okay, the gas is off right now. Well. No, don't open the window. Don't open anything. Just stay over here. Fuck.
And as Aaron
I was
says,
talking about the gas with the
canister.
barbecue.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It
another
would be a
thought, isn't it? There'd
bomb.
be so many barbecues. I mean, it doesn't need to be
Well,
turned off,
and
does
as
it?
Aaron says, it doesn't help that most American houses are made primarily of wood and plaster. So they go up just like it's like a tinderbox. It's just ghastly.
Truly,
Yeah,
true.
Lauren, you're right. I don't think anyone has realised quite how bad,
No,
nor quite how fearsome the whole thing is.
No, I didn't realise. I saw bits and pieces around.
Now the weirdest thing is that lots of people have been to America. I mean, that Malibu Strip, it's the Pacific Highway. And what's happening is the wind is coming in. These are gusts, the Santa Ana winds, I think they're called, or the Devil's Breath.
Richard
I think they call it the Devil's Breath. And it comes in from the desert areas inland in America, and it whips through. And essentially, what happens is it's like a stream. The wind is looking for the quickest way to get through. So as it fires through LA, it just gets faster and faster as the pressure comes out of the desert.
And is this
comparable
global
to the one that happened in Maui, which is high winds and dry conditions, allowing the fire to spread insanely fast.
Oh my God! And they've got a climate change denier coming in, like in a week.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what
total climate change denier.
Well, you see, again, one of the problems with all of this is, will he not say? People like Donald Trump will simply say things like, "Well,
These things happen.
This happened before. We have wildfires." They'll argue, is it any? I mean, there's a lot of people who I quite respect who are constantly raise a cock and eyebrow when you talk about climate
Are they
change.
scientists?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what? You've got to look at the scientists that have and
Richard
who
Lynn,
are
last night the wind
screaming
was
at
so
us.
bad that my home lights were flickering because the power lines were moving so much.
Richard.
Bloody hell, Richard, stay safe for God's sake.
So are you
What's
waiting to be evacuated now?
What's the likelihood of
happening?
it spreading beyond, or is it albeit that it's spreading fast in the area that it is it more than likely going to be held there? It's not. There's no possibility, because I noticed it's only just a little bit north of Santa Monica. Is there any possibility that it could spread further south? I presume as you get to the more urban sprawl of LA proper, there are fewer trees, but as Erin says, the houses could just go up in smoke quite
Yes,
easily.
Sharon, Gina Yashir. I just saw her Instagram post. You might not know her. She's a comedian. She's fantastic.
She's about
British comedian. She lives in Malibu. Why do I keep saying Malibu? Oh yeah, I don't know.
It is Malibu. Yeah, she's about to lose her
she
house
said,
too.
"We're now leaving. We're going to lose our beautiful home."
Wow.
But she's classic her. She then put, "If you see me in the same T-shirt for the next 6 months, don't give me shit."
Right.
That's her. She's got very dark humour.
Wow. Okay.
Very funny. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Right.
And that life that she's built there, you know, she worked so damn hard to get, you know how hard it is for comedians, but also a black comedian to get enough success to then go to America. And she loves her home. She posts a lot about her home, doesn't she? And she's going to lose it.
Everyone has been evacuated within a 29-mile area so far, says Mo Power. Wow. Climate change, warmer, drier weather is not typical for LA this time of year.
Yeah. I mean, it's climate change, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, anyone that wants to deny that, good luck with that.
Leo says, none of my favorite Instagrammers who live there have posted, which is worrying.
Really?
Patsy Palmer lives in Malibu. Yeah.
I'm just going to check Patsy.
Wow, look at this.
Because there was a fire.
Think that base jumpers, firefighters who parachute into wildfires to put them out, only receive 30,000. Do they do that? They parachute into wildfires.
Good God.
Bloody hell. And what? Then hit the ground and then do what? I mean, Christ, what do you do when you land in the middle of a fire?
I suppose it's going to attract people that are thrill seekers, aren't they? And risk takers and like stuntmen and, you know.
Okay.
No, there's nothing on Patsy's. Because a few weeks ago there was a fire and she was saying how, oh, here we go. I just can't believe this is happening again. I just went home so grateful that our house was saved. Now it's happening again. Yeah, because a few weeks ago, her neighbour's house was burnt down and she was literally waiting to see if her house was going to survive. I wonder if
this has changed since this. This was posted 10 hours ago. It's got considerably worse.
Please evacuate if you're ordered to. I'm in shock. I just went home to the aftermath and now I'm back in the UK. Oh, she's back in the UK. It's happening again. That's right. She was in the UK. She went back. She's gone back thinking it's all right. Oh my God. So hard to watch tonight. She posts so much about, because, you know, she's sober and she posts so much about, you know, she can't believe that by really believing in herself and changing her life. She says every day she talks about her gratitude for her life and that taking that risk and the sobriety and all of that. There'll be so many heartbreaking stories, won't there, as to what this will mean for each. I mean, it's just unimaginable to just watch your home just. I mean,
astonishing at the moment, as I understand it, there hasn't been any casualties. Of course, I mean, people have lost their homes, but
pray Patsy doesn't lose hers.
You know, full kind of thumbs up to the firefighting services for preventing any deaths thus far. I guess, though they don't know. Talking of climate change deniers, let's have a listen to Donald Trump. I watched a lot of it live as it happened last night. Actually,
first time in history.
What's that?
All firefighters on vacation have been called.
First time in history. Mo Power. Wow. Bloody hell. It's developing fast. I mean, the only thing that I think one can hope for is that the winds will eventually, if you imagine there's this huge amount of pressure and it has to find a way out, eventually will that wind deplete? But if it's ignited so much,
that's it. It's like,
is it going to just
it's
spread?
So dry,
you know,
it's just
at what point can you?
Oh. Well, pray God, please God, no. Yeah.
Well, here's the climate change denier in chief. Let's have a listen to him. He gave a live, rambling 2-hour, 1 3/4 hour speech last night, in which he tackled virtually everything in the most sort of oddest, weirdest manner
he's so
possible.
Frightening. He's mad.
He's in charge. But anyway, let's have a listen. So, you know, you may have heard, you may have seen talk of him maybe needing to use, though I'm pretty sure he won't, certainly economic force, but possibly military force to take Greenland.
He was asked directly, do you rule out using military force? Or is that on this piece?
Yeah, let's have a look at the
going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
What a beautiful name.
And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. We have a massive deficit with Mexico, and we help Mexico a lot. They're essentially run by the cartels, and can't let that happen. Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too. And the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers, record numbers. And we want to get along with everybody, but, you know, they have to, it takes two to tango.
When asked about military action, they're off mic.
You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military.
We need the country.
No, I know.
I mean, that's what you're saying.
It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election.
So let's just be clear here. He actually said there, we need them for our economic stability. Greenland is it's owned by Denmark. It's part of Denmark, but it essentially falls within the EU. So if he were to invade Greenland or try and take Greenland militarily, he would be in breach of the NATO agreement. So NATO allies would, in theory,
be able to go to war.
Well, be compelled and forced to go to war, which would suggest that whilst America's a signatory to NATO, America would have to declare war on itself because it was invading a NATO-protected country.
There was a video of his son in Greenland walking around, FaceTiming Trump, and Trump saying to them, "We'll look after you people."
Yeah, it's not called MAGA there, it's called MUGA, Make Greenland Great Again.
And the thing is, they have the indigenous people, 57,000, you said, didn't you? You know, have fought valiantly against any mining of the minerals there. Now, why they want Greenland is because there are minerals there that Musk needs for his electric cars, apparently.
The natural resources are...
Now, so what you start digging around in Greenland...
I mean, imagine if they take Greenland. Greenland would be equivalent to the kind of gold rush in America when everyone just went, you know, fucking gangbusters everywhere.
Billionaires
but the part of this that's really disturbing and really is disturbing, he's also talking about through economic force trying to make Canada the 51st state. He posted this on his Truth Social. This is me reposting it. This is my repost on Insta Stories. Donald Trump just posted this on his Truth Social account. Oh, Canada. It's a map of all of North America, including Canada, with the American flag on it. And this is really concerning because what we could be witnessing here in terms of his chat about Greenland and the Panama Canal is a very different, just because it's him saying it in a jocular, almost stand-up comedy routine.
I think he's looking very fierce,
I kind of want it and we kind of need it. And maybe I can do it through economic force. That's no different to what Putin has done in Ukraine.
Yeah, of course. And part of his ticket was, I'm coming in with no war. There was no war when I was at the... I don't want war. And on TYT, the Young Turks, that I'm constantly quoting these days, they were saying, this is what Trump is like. He's probably gone, oh, look what Putin's doing. Oh, look what Netanyahu is doing. I want more land. America needs more land. And he said it could be that basic.
Yeah, but
he's like in competition with other maniacs that are stealing other people's land.
Let's just pause for a minute, though. There are only 57,000 people in Greenland, so it would not take a huge military act.
Canada?
No, so the Canada 51st state. There's many people in Canada who love us. I mean, he could. I mean, the problem here is this. What we will experience from, and this is the idea is that this has not happened before. This is how America controls huge parts of the world. They use their economic might. America knows the world, and I hate to say this, guys, the world is in a twilight region where there are fewer resources to go around. There is the only major Western kind of country that is self-sufficient enough to, at this moment, and I hate to say it, this is what's going on really in America. We're at a tipping point where there isn't much time left to kind of salvage what there is of the earth and ensure
ravage the earth.
And ensure that your population is self-sustainable and self-protected and contained. China's tried to do it as much as possible. Their population peak has happened, and what happens to the world when the Chinese population starts to go down is anyone's guess. But I think what we're seeing in America is how can they make their last fucking big grab without it being militaristic as possible, but they'll do it with economic kind of force. Now, the idea that this is new, the International Monetary Fund, controlled by America, dictates policy all over the world. Look at countries like Jordan. America controls everyone by controlling their purse.
And Jordan's 40% of Jordan's water, where my father's from, is now controlled by Netanyahu.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just petrifying. All these maniacs in charge, Putin, Netanyahu, Trump.
It's just interesting to listen to. It's just interesting to listen to how, you know, we talked about trying to draw an equivalence between Putin and Ukraine and what would America do if Mexico. He talks about Mexico there. He talks about them being controlled by the cartels. What he could do with tariffs to Canada and Mexico, bear this in mind, could be as damaging, if not more damaging, economically to Canada and Mexico as what Putin is doing to Ukraine. If the tariffs he's talking about are implemented, he could absolutely bring Canada's and Mexico's economies to their knees. At which point they force them to the negotiating table, at which point a bigger America. Now, Joe Rogan has talked about, well, if you're going to go for Canada and if you're going to go for Greenland, why not go for Mexico too?
This isn't a joke. This isn't a movie. This is actually happening.
On the premise that the Mexicans love us so much, they keep trying to come here. Why don't we have Mexico? I mean,
was he saying that in a very jocular fashion?
Well, I think he may be gallows humoring it.
But you know what? Don't plant seeds in Trump's head.
What do you think, guys?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, ZJK. Let me read your comment. If Trump starts invading other countries, that gives the green light to all dictators to do the same. It could cause chaos. ZJK, thank you for contributing. I've not seen your
welcome
name before. I don't even think he needs to invade. The fact that he said this, the fact that he's talking like this, is that surely not enough for other countries to sort of, and when we talk about other countries, we can only think of places like China and Russia, but this could become a free-for-all. And
listen, Trump is not just somebody who can just do whatever he wants. There are checks and balances that you have to go through. There's still a government in place. Democracy,
he can implement tariff reform. But this is where America's so clever.
Right.
All we'll hear is tariffs. We won't hear bombs.
I keep hearing a lot about tariffs.
Yeah, so he'll make it almost eye-wateringly expensive for Canada to be able to sell anything to America.
And if they can't sell to America, they're fucked, basically.
They are fucked, and he will erode their economy. He knows they are the biggest economy. They're one of the biggest economies. If China becomes more insular and America becomes entirely insular and then dictates terms, who's the fall guy? Europe. Europe to America is just in the, what did he describe it as the other day? We're in a dangerous area. I mean, Europe, they're in a danger zone.
Yeah, they need to pay the tariffs because they're in a very dangerous area.
Well, we are. We're right on Russia's doorstep.
Yeah. So he's basically saying we'll just take our hands off and you're just left on your own.
Who thinks secretly what all this stuff with Musk and the BRICS and Trump, who thinks they're trying to cut off the special relationship and just hang us out to dry?
It certainly feels like that, doesn't it? Whether there's been any discussion between Trump and Musk, we don't know. They could have been. They could have said, "Oh, let's go," but we don't know. But it's what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah. As Vic says, Canada is already in economic trouble.
I can't even talk about what he said about the Middle East.
Well, no, I've got the quotes just here.
So
there we go.
awful.
All hell will... Right, let's just think about this. All hell will break out in the Israeli Middle East if the captives aren't released by day one. Hang on a minute, Trump. How much more hell can there be for the Gazans?
And Jordan and Lebanon and Syria. My family are just like 2 minutes away across the border.
I don't understand how much more hellish it could get.
Because it will spread and spread and spread.
I thought this was the guy who was going to stop wars.
No, all he's done is talk about war. But let's remember, he didn't give a shit about MAGA. He doesn't give a shit about it. He's got his group of billionaires. He's already taken 200 million in between getting voted in. And this is about him and his family and his dynasty and his friend billionaires. He doesn't give a shit about anyone else.
No.
Guys, I have to tell you, I binge listened yesterday to The Rest is Politics US. They've got a 4-part series on the insurrection. You know, when Capitol Hill was invaded. And it's so good. It's so interesting. And you just think, sometimes democracy is shit because it's democracy that's got this maniac back in charge. I mean, not that I had any time for the Democrats either, but it's when you run through again what he actually did, it's just petrifying and interesting. Can't recommend it highly enough. I binged the whole 4 episodes.
Yeah. Just finally, a couple of things before we talk about Zuckerberg. Musk's dad was on ITV this morning saying Mandela was a worse man than Tommy Robinson. I think I also heard,
Musk's dad.
Yeah, Musk's dad is everywhere doing interviews. He was also, I think, on the Andrew Marshall or something.
God.
He also said that Tommy Robinson is the UK's Mandela.
Okay, now I can't actually process anymore.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I can't process.
Okay, on that note, Mark Zuckerberg, owner of Facebook, Instagram, Meta, he's announced that fact checking is going to be removed. This is only applicable at the moment to North America, though these changes could come in to the UK and Europe.
Yeah, why would they do it only in North America?
Well, yes.
Is it being trialed in North America?
It's not being trialed,
No,
it's
it's
happening.
just happening.
Yeah, and his announcement, I was going to play it all, but it's a bit long.
And he's a bit boring.
And he's a bit weird. And a lot of papers talking about the fact that he's wearing a £1 million watch.
Is he?
Yeah, let me just quickly show you the beginning of it. Just to get a sense.
About something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram.
So free expression, etc., on Facebook and Instagram. Now, a number of people at The Guardian have said this is a win for the far right, because what he's talking about here is removing the third-party fact checkers who potentially were those who were responsible for blocking, or people feeling like they were blocking, lots of, say, pro-Palestinian material or free Palestine. You know, there's been a distinct sense that there's been shadow banning, that there's been a limiting of the expression of certain kind of opinions and feelings. A good example of where fact checking really kind of seized upon social media across all platforms and prevented a lot of discussion was around COVID, vaccinations, etc. Do you remember on YouTube you'd always get a little notice up saying,
so annoying.
And when we were talking about COVID, there were many in our inbox as YouTubers, you would get many sort of laced threats saying, be careful what you talk about because you will have a strike if you dare to kind of step outside of this. What he's talking about introducing is something which is like what's it called, community notes or something like that they have on X, which is a system whereby registered users of the platform, you have to have, and what's interesting about the community notes thing on X, regardless of what you think of X and whether it's right or wrong or what, this is the opportunity for people who are part of the social media community to challenge the truths that are being given, if you like. I think Wikipedia works a little bit like this. But in order to be one of those people who contributes to community notes, you do have to give the platform your phone number. You have to be a recognizable human. You can't be anonymous and all that kind of thing. So it's not watertight, and it doesn't mean that those community notes are necessarily accurate, but they're attributable to recognizable people. He wants to remove the accusation that Facebook and Instagram are essentially monitoring and skewing the way in which news is principally
I think it seems to be.
you.
It seems to me to be a bit of a poof in Elon Musk's face, who totally controlled the election.
Yes,
who was trying to cause trouble using his own thoughts and feelings. He's master manipulator. So I think he's trying to say, "Oh no, we don't want any part of this."
Yeah.
I know Zoe. Zoe says, you know, Zoe posted something about Palestine the other day. It was removed. We get really very truthful stuff just removed like that. So is that individual fact checker going, "Oh, I don't."
Exactly. Well, personally, I mean, I here's the thing. I mean, a lot of right wingers are going, this is a victory for free speech. The Guardian is saying this is a victory for far right speech. Yes, it is. But it surely, if it is a win for far right, it's also a win for left leaning or humanitarian free speech too. I know ZJK.
I mean, you still won't be able to post things that are illegal.
No,
to
child
say.
protection is still there.
Yeah.
Race incitement. You can still, if material incites hatred and it hasn't been picked up by the system at all, you can still pursue legal proceedings and what have you. ZJK says it feels Zuck is bending the knee because Trump threatened to put jail him over unfair coverage. Also, a federal case in April split Facebook, Instagram. Yes, there's a lot of people saying this is him bowing to Trump. But you know what? The problem,
maybe he's bowing a bit to everybody.
Well, also maybe better to bow up front so that there's still a platform for people to talk about anything than being absolutely knocked out of the game. I don't necessarily think this is only a bad. I don't think this is a bad thing. Let's. I mean, he mentions it in his chat there. Something really important that I want to talk about is the legacy media, the mainstream media. We have this spurious idea that they are somehow impartial, responsible, and the arbiters of totally kind of neutral news. The Israel-Gaza Palestinian crisis has illustrated the totally jaundiced, untrustworthy nature of the mainstream media. It's an absolute bust flush. The idea that somehow the BBC is somehow more responsible. The BBC has showered itself in shit during this entire crisis. No news outlets, Sky News, all of them should be ashamed of themselves. So I personally see this, whilst yes, of course, the problem with any free speech is it allows all free speech. I personally see it as a good thing because I think it's another nail in the coffin of these so-called arbiters of tasteful news or appropriate news gathering. Right down to the point that I was saying to Nadia yesterday, I wouldn't be at all surprised if on many of the courses that teach journalism now, I would be curious to know where and what and how they deal with certain topics. Like we've talked in the past how vets don't get taught anything by nutritionists and when they are, they're taught by those companies that actually support the pet food manufacturing industry. I'd be fascinated to know who's deciding what impartiality is, who decides the Ofcom rules, where have these regulations come from? Who were those in charge of setting the rules? Because as we've witnessed with the Israel-Gaza crisis, it's totally tipped in one direction. And actually, social media has been the only place that we've been able to have the oxygen to challenge this. And I think, whilst, yes, the bad news is there'll be more right-wing stuff out there, there's also a chance for more left-wing stuff to fight back
but
and
not be clipped. Out in the world, there is. You could be in a pub and people could be saying all sorts of things. Yeah. But there's the illegal side of that. And I suppose you just got to think of it like that. Yeah. There are people that say disgusting, terrible things wherever you are. And social media is another social situation.
Just finally on this episode.
But if you say you can still, if you're being hounded, you're being trolled, or somebody's threatening you or saying anything that is now illegal, you still have that right to, ask for that to be taken down.
Epsington says, I just wish the result of free speech wasn't Musk, Tate, Robertson, Netanyahu, Trump, Bannon, Rogan. No, I entirely agree. But yes, the impetus is actually on the left to get the same fucking people out there. Yeah. Because where I do get really frustrated is there are zero articulate, really inspiring kind of politicians. It was refreshing just seeing Jess Phillips push back against against Elon Musk yesterday.
Up getting to Mars.
Yeah, in a very sort of dismissive but humanistic way. And it was
instead of having men say far worse things
exactly.
To me. Who are you? Just shush.
I agree. I wish this wasn't the result, but I tell you what, the gauntlet is thrown down for, I'm not saying people like us, but opinions like this need to be expressed. The Owen Jones is doing a great job. There are many people out there. It will allow for more of that, but it does take people willing to step forward and risk themselves and say this stuff. Anyway. Done?
Done. No, I think we need to cover divorce.
Oh, yes, sorry, don't get divorced.
So this is an article today by an interview with top divorce lawyer, Sandra Davis. I believe that she was Princess Diana's lawyer. And she's the queen bee of the London divorce scene. Actually, I really like this interview. I really liked her. She's obviously incredibly posh, incredibly smart, incredibly wealthy, but I liked her. She seemed like, great. She's obviously, actually in the interview, the journalist says, oh, she's just so lovely and so warm. And then she basically asked her for a bit of gossip on Diana. And she said her eyes went like absolute steel.
And presumably this is a little bit off the back that the divorce goes up at this time.
So divorce day was Monday, the day that most people apply for a divorce. And her top bit of advice is do everything you can to not get divorced. Bar, of course, if there is control issues, any brutality, anything like that. I'm just trying to find the bit where she says, why not to?
I love the bit where she talks about she looks to see if there's a psychopath in the relationship.
Yeah, so here she says, I find that if you're completely selfish about divorce, you know, like, I'm not happy, I'll just throw this relationship out like a tissue, chuck it out, get another one. You are in for a shock. It can be liberating, an opportunity for a new life, but it's not easy. Divorce doesn't work like that for anyone. And I love this bit. It's like a depth charge that goes on blowing up different areas of your life, your friendships, your social situation. It's like indigestion. You never get rid of your ex. They repeat on you.
Oh, right, yeah.
And she says early on, she always advises mediation first, and she'll recommend therapists for people to go to because she knows what's coming.
Right.
And she said, but I do get clients in as early as I can because I need to know if there's a psychopath in the mix.
Sandra Davis is her name.
Yeah, I said that, didn't I?
No, just
sorry, darling. Yeah, she said because I need to know early if there's a psychopath in the mix. I learned early on in my career that there is the wife's truth, the husband's truth, and the objective truth. And she also says a good divorce is when nobody's entirely happy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because and what she means, like, don't keep fighting on all night and on to get everything you want. She also said she's still so shocked on how little women know. Now, she's a top divorce lawyer. So I think if you are going for a divorce, we've all got so many ideas about if you're the stay-at-mom home, you won't get the house and all of that. And you can go to bad lawyers and you can end up having a bad deal. She actually says here, which we were both surprised about, that the UK is the best place for a woman to get divorced in the world. We have the best situation for women.
As in the settlements are most favourable.
Yeah. That's an interesting point as well. She says due to the new, I can't find it now, to the new laws, there's no ceiling like there are in other countries. And there is no this like you've been a stay-at-home mum, so you are not entitled. She said the big mistake so many people make is I need the house, and they don't look at things like pensions, and they'll let that go too easily. And I love this. She said, better to give one or other of you the money than give it to the lawyers.
Right.
So you could be fighting for something, and you're the whole time paying the lawyer.
Yes.
And actually, sometimes it's better just to be kind than be right.
Yeah.
You might think it's your right to have this, but you might spend all of that on the lawyer, and then there's nothing. But this was a really nice thing. She said, in her experience, she does not find that children of divorced parents are more likely to divorce.
Oh.
She says less likely. They are less likely. They know the trauma that a divorce brings in its wake. I want to take all I know about divorce from the last 40 years of working within it. I want to help people divorce better.
It's interesting, isn't it? What I really love from all of that is the idea that a successful divorce settlement is one in which no one is particularly happy with, equally unhappy.
Be careful if you'll keep on fighting and fighting.
Because on that note, I want to sort of throw in, I can think of someone who, when in couples counselling or couples therapy, they came out, one half of the party came out in absolute shock that it was a shared responsibility, that they too had some part in this. There is, even if one person has done the most obvious thing wrong, say been unfaithful or done something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the one cause of the problem in the relationship. You've got to look at that. What happened there has been caused by dissatisfaction.
Controlling or any of that. So this was it. She said this was a landmark case in 2000 where it was, and this is not the same in other countries, no bias in favor of the money earner and against the homemaker and child carer. I think loads of us don't know that.
No.
So if somebody might be really unhappy in a marriage and just keep thinking, well, you know, I'm not going to have any place because I'm at home and I'm looking after children, man or woman, you know, it's not always the woman. There's been a sea change in awards towards wives. There is virtually no ceiling for settlements in the UK. There is more of a level playing field here for spouses who are not the wealth creator. So, but I think the most amazing thing is when people can both. She said actually as well, she said it's very, very rare that two people want to get divorced. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? But the most important thing is if you have children is to just keep seeing everything you're doing as if they're looking at you. They're looking at you. You know,
Zoe says this would be a good house to stay married. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. And also I love the thing that she says about the depth charge. I mean, obviously I haven't been married, but I can absolutely attest to the fact that a relationship in which you've had kids, the gyrations of that relationship, just because you get divorced, there's this idea that you get your piece of paper, you sign the, and I think people even getting divorced think, oh, it'll all be better once that's done. It doesn't.
Mylene Class put that so eloquently. We were talking about whether somebody should be told, whether they are, if you know that somebody else is having an affair. I can't remember what her decision was, that or not, but she was talking about how it's such a huge thing. And it was kind of almost that language, which is, it's not ever just one thing. It goes on and on. The ramifications go on forever.
The relationship goes on.
So if there's any way that you, because a lot of people, I think, will go to divorce situation without having really dug into and really been honest with what's making them unhappy.
And grief is such a defining part of the breakup of any relationship. Grief, when you lose someone in life, doesn't just stop, does it? Once you've kind of done the funeral.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. So a divorce will happen. The grief will manifest in so many different ways, especially into, sadly, the lives of children.
Anna Sharon Russ, I find a lot of young people getting divorced, not like it used to be years ago. Married 35. Oh, sorry, I'm mumbling. I'm speaking to myself. Sorry. Go on, you read it.
I find a lot of young people getting divorced, not like it used to be years ago. I'm married 35 years now. We've had our ups and downs still together.
And I think that's what she was kind of alluding to, that don't just throw it away before you've tried everything. Because if you think it's hard, just wait until divorce, because that's so hard as well. Yeah.
Okay, it's a long one. We're gonna just sum up. It's a funny clip, but it's kind of funny in a sort of hellish sort of way. I've removed the YMCA song because I thought this made it almost more sinister. Is this our future?
Oh,
I think maybe it is. I think maybe it is.
Oh. Why are they dancing?
This is our future, guys.
Oh, he's got that bloody look about him again as well. I'm such a statesman. Mum always says he's got a mouth like a bumhole. Betty says, I'm sorry, his mouth is like a bumhole.
A cat's anus.
Yes. And you're right, Betty. My mother, that is, by the way, if you're wondering who Betty is.
It's a beautiful cat's anus. It puckers. My mouth puckers.
So that was a long one.
All right, guys.
What do we need to tell them?
Nothing.
What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh, except you've got a very different No Name Sunday show to the members area.
Yes. Look forward to that. Keep your eyes peeled, eyes stripped, and all the rest of it. We are encountering all sorts of issues with our photo box order of cards. Cards are due to go out, but for some reason there's some kind of delay. We can't blame Brexit. We don't know what it is. Maybe the Christmas clog. But guys, have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you, Faith. I saw that today and I want to watch that. Split. Absolutely. I don't think Mark wants to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, no, we'll watch it. I don't want to.